Hey guys, welcome to Built by Sam. So today, swapping out my pool pump. It's been slowly dying here for the last couple of weeks, and you can tell by how the concrete's all wet and stained. It's been leaking for a while, but it finally went out. So I took a chance. I bought one in Amazon, and we're gonna put it in. So started off, I just shut the valves off, going to and from the pool, unplugged the pump, disconnected the ground wire that was there, and just pulling the hose clamps off. This was just a piece of small piping I had because the pipe on here burst about a year or so ago, and I threw this on there quick and never ended up changing it. So now's the time to change it because it wasn't sealed up too well as it was. Clamps weren't coming off all that great, so I ended up just cutting it off. It's getting replaced anyways. I'll show you what we're going to put there instead. Go ahead and pull the thread adapter fittings out of there. We're gonna do something a little bit different. Get them out, get them cleaned up. Get the flexible spa hose out of here. So if you guys haven't used the flexible PVC, it's basically equivalent to like a Schedule 40 PVC, but it is flexible, and you can glue it and use all standard PVC fittings. So you don't have to use barb fittings and hose clamps or nothing like that. So we're going to use that for the new pump. Bring the old pump in the shop here. Here's a good look at the new pump, the old one. The one thing I have to do is I need to swap the cords out because the cord of the new pump's only about 2 feet long and it wasn't going to reach my outlet. So instead of making a new cord, I'm just going to rob the one off of this pump and switch it over to the new one. So I'm just going to pull the back covers off. It's pretty straightforward. Just loosen up the seal tight connection there. This one had a couple wire nuts on it. Pull them off. And we can pull the wire right out of there. Grab a couple pliers. So on the new pump, it had some stake-on connections, which are like the crimp-on fittings that go onto the tabs. So I am going to put a new set of them on the new cable. So you see me popping off the neutral and the hot wire there on the switch. This is a 2-speed pump as well, so I did want a 2-speed pump. I wanted it so in the evening hours I run on low speed. I feel like you get less heat loss if the water's not circulating so much. So that was the idea behind getting the 2-speed pump. It is a 2 horsepower. 2-speed, 110 volt or 115 volt, whatever it comes out to. And I believe my old pump was like a 1.5 or 1 3/4 horse. So we'll see how this one does compared to that. So just crimping on a few new connectors here, stripping the wires, putting on the stake-on connectors to the, like I said, the switch and the neutral on the motor. Here's a little trick for you. If you're ever going to wrap a wire around a screw, leave some of the insulation on the end of the wire, and it keeps it from coming all frayed on you. And you can wrap around the screw and snug down the screw, and it makes a much neater connection than having the wires all frayed at the end. Just gonna push the connectors back on. Tighten up the seal tight connection. Snug it down. Doesn't need to be crazy tight. Put the cover back on, a couple screws. And we are all set with the new cord. So we'll take this out to the filter area and put it in place. If you guys are interested in this pump, I will put a link in the description for it off Amazon. And what I'll do is maybe every month or so in the comments, I'll just give you guys an update on how it's working. I did install this about a week prior to publishing this, so it has been going great for a week so far, so no issues there. This is a view of the flexible PVC. They call it spa tubing or spa hose, 1.5 inch. Like I said, it can be glued into any standard fitting of its equivalent size. So these are all 1.5 inch fittings on this pump. So I get 1.5 inch piping, and you can glue it on with standard PVC glue. It makes it pretty easy. One thing I do like to do though is use the Rain-R Shine glue. It's blue. And what's good about this glue compared to your standard clear PVC cement is it's more forgiving for repairs when you have piping that may not be perfectly clean. It may have a little bit of moisture on it, or it may be wet from having water going through it, or maybe really humid outside. And the blue rain or shine cement definitely performs better in those scenarios. It also sets up a little quicker, so you get to a higher strength a little earlier, so you can put it under pressure quicker and not have to worry about it. So anytime you glue anything, prime it well, fully coat the inside and the outside of the two fittings going together, and push them together, turn them slightly, and hold them in place for at least 10 seconds or so until that glue has a chance just to grab and not move on you. Had to come back in here to find some thread sealant, and I think I grabbed another little 45-degree elbow there. And we will get this other connection put together here. So that female thread adapter was already into that elbow there, so I had to put a male thread adapter to PVC connection so I could put these elbows on there. So we're just going to put some thread sealant on that. This Blue Monster makes really great thread sealant. This bottle's kind of old, so it's kind of running out there, but if you are going to buy any type of pipe dope or thread sealant, this stuff is one of the best ones for it. So you just want to make sure you fully coat all your threads and make sure everything's nice and even, thread it in. And being that it's PVC, obviously you can't go crazy tightening it down, just snug it up good, make sure it's sealed, and you're good to go. So we're just going to dry fit some connections here. This was eliminating that junk flex hose I had on there earlier. We're going to use another piece of the spa tubing, cut it to size. It does cut pretty well with a razor blade. You just got to kind of take your time. It does have a spiral built into it, and the blade wants to follow the spiral, so it's tough to get a perfectly straight cut, but if you work at it, it's not really an issue. So like I said earlier, this stuff is the same way. You just make sure you prime everything up really good, make sure you clean it well, both ends of the connections. Let that primer dry for just a minute or so. It doesn't have to be fully dry, but you don't want to be wiping glue on it as soon as you do that. Here's a little trick for you. If you ever dry fit anything together, just go ahead and make little index marks with a Sharpie. That way when you take it apart to put your glue and primer on there, you know how it needs to go back together. If you guys ever worked with PVC glue before, once it's pushed together, you really can't move it. You know, it dries pretty quick and seals up. So if you make a mistake, it's not like you're going to be able to have time to reposition or re-angle your fittings. So it's always best to dry fit when you can, make a little index mark, glue it up good, and then it's real simple to put them together. So I typically apply the glue to the inside of the fitting first and then the outside, just so it prevents it from dripping off of the other fitting. Always push them on and kind of do like a quarter turn, just so that way the glue fully seats. It seals up well. Line up your mark, hold them there about 10 seconds or so. If you don't hold it, you'll notice your fitting will try to walk out on you a little bit, and that's all that holding it there for a few seconds does for you. So just hold it in place. We're going to put the flexible hose here on. I already had it primed up from earlier. Apply the glue and push her in there. This flex hose here will help isolate any movement from the motor or vibration from the motor from affecting the PVC. Just make sure if you're going to use a union style connection like this that you put the collar on the pipe before you glue on the end, because once you glue this end on there, that blue collar that's slid up there won't go on there. So if you guys ever done brake lines or any type of flared fitting connection, you know if you don't put the fitting on before you flare the line, you're going to be cutting that flare back off, and that's the same scenario here. So just make sure you put that collar on there prior to gluing on the fitting. These have an O-ring built in the end of them, so once you line them up and snug them down, that's basically it. So I'm going to let that glue dry for a minute on that before I go tightening it down. We're going to connect the ground line here that goes into that ground rod in the ground you see there. Just grounds the motor directly to the earth. We got the power cord there. We'll just kind of route that around, and we'll make the connection here. I just wanted that glue to set up a little bit before I went tweaking on that hose. So snug them down nice and tight. Don't need to be crazy, but they do need to be tight. Grab a pair of channel locks so you can just kind of cinch them down that last little bit. And tighten up the other one. And we'll get the pump plugged in. What I have here is an outdoor timer. This actually works really well. You can program it with your phone. It can hook to Wi-Fi. You can automatically have it different programs, or you can have it where it is on a schedule, or you can do it by itself. So I fired up the pump. It's running. There's a bunch of air in the lines right now, so that's coming out, but it's pumping. It's actually pretty quiet. It's quieter than my old one. Seems to be moving quite a bit of water. That's about it. So appreciate you guys watching. Like I said, this is just a quick video. Like I said, the pump went out, decided to change it out, and decided to film it for you guys. So thanks for watching. Subscribe for more, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.